I'm not special. I'm not a Jocko Willink. I'm not a Goggins, a Mel Robbins, not a Ryan Holiday. Like, I'm Kel Williams. And I'm the kid from Detroit who was so afraid of being bullied that he'd skip school by hiding in his own closet. I was a weak, scared kid that always felt unsafe. I wish I was stronger then and be able to do the things I want to do. All right, so I just want to address a few messages I gotten recently after I'd post something about resilience along the lines of, I wish I was stronger so that I can deal with things and overcome, or I want to fight what's going on, but that are the ones that really stand out to me is if I can be as motivated as you are, then I'd be able to do the things I want to do. And my response is usually like, I'm not special. I'm not special. I'm not a Jocko Willink. I'm not a Goggins, a Mel Robbins, not a Ryan Holiday. Like, I'm Kel Williams. I'm the kid from Detroit who was so afraid of being bullied that he'd skip school by hiding in his own closet. I was a weak, scared kid that always felt unsafe. The kid who'd walk around the neighborhood with a pistol in his waist. A broken pistol, by the way, I should add. A little 22 that I found in the house when we moved to Detroit. But I was weak. I was a weak, scared kid that always felt unsafe. So I grew up with all sorts of fears and bad habits. And some, honestly, that I'm still breaking and facing to this day. So I'm not special. If you're looking for special, look up those people I just mentioned. I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy who got tired of being weak and scared, and I just started to do something about it, which was to stand up and get going despite all my issues and fears and things that I perceive as weaknesses. Because the truth is, I still struggle. And it might be obvious to some through my posts sometimes. But I share what I share, the way that I share it, intentionally. So people will know it's not a one-time deal, like where, you overcome something and now you're all good. I battled a blood disorder and overcame it, and now it's all good. We go through the struggles, the highs and lows throughout the season, and then we come up with a championship. We come up with these awards, and now it's smooth sailing from then on. It doesn't work that way. But then you get a bunch of people with gifts and talents that they should be sharing with the world, but they hesitate. They're paralyzed because they're dealing with issues and they have bad days. And then they think they need to have it all figured out before they start to set themselves loose on the world. But you got to stop stopping yourself. Don't sabotage yourself because you think you need to have it all figured out, or you think you're not strong enough, or you just feel really weak or whatever it might be. Stop it. Because the reality is, resilience looks different for different people. Right? So sometimes it's what we see mostly on YouTube and social media. I know I'm strong. I got it. I'm an overcomer type of resilience, and that's great. It's inspiring. Get people motivated. But then sometimes it's oh man, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not feeling it today, but I'm just I'm gonna do what I can do. And honestly, that's usually the place where I come from. A lot of times, that's the place where I come from. I'm tired, my body's exhausted from workouts or practice. And I'm dealing with some heavy stuff here, emotional baggage here. I just don't feel like doing it. But my mindset now is just like, let me just get here and try to do something that is forward. Even if it's just getting my feet out of bed. Let's start with that. Let's get in the shower. Try to do something that's on the positive side of the spectrum. But the other way that I used to function through or be quote unquote resilient with was through fear. Like earlier in my career, I was afraid of playing bad. I was afraid of embarrassing myself. I was afraid of embarrassing my family and my friends. So I worked like a robot, to try to minimize the margin of error. And they still came, obviously, of course, right? As life goes, that's just how it goes. You're gonna make mistakes, but I was just so bent on not being a flop that fear kept me on my toes. Now, it's not the healthiest mode of overcoming, but if the fear's there, which it was for me, you might as well use it, right? And I had results. I made pretty decent results with being led by fear, but I don't suggest it stay that way. Like there's been days for me where I just felt stuck in life and I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to see anyone. But every time I dragged myself to practice, every time I dragged myself to the game, dragged myself to the gym, I won against my demons. I won against myself. So sometimes being resilient is just a matter of showing up. Like in my case, once you're there, you're there. So you might as well get the work done. That's how I look at it. Now, don't be fooled into thinking you need to be a superhero to overcome. That's the whole purpose. That's the message for today. You don't need to be a superhero to overcome. If you got to practice, if you got to work today, if you got to school, if you got out of bed when you just everything in you didn't want to, you're winning. You won that moment. You won that day. Because you got it done. You got to where you needed to be. That's the start. Being there. You can't do what you're supposed to do if you're not there to do it. So you need to start recognizing those things as wins. And then build on it. Because it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter the thoughts that go through your mind as you're taking steps forward. It's just the fact and a matter of you taking steps forward. Those are wins that you can build on. And the more you step, the more you go, the stronger you'll get. In 2 months, a year, 2 years, you'll look back and say, wow, my mentality and my mindset is shifted. Now you have become that person you thought you needed to be to even take that first step you took 2 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. You've become that person because you took action now. You took action and you battled in that time when you felt like you couldn't. You thought you couldn't. You're much stronger than you think. So go out there and get active.